Hello and welcome to All That Matters, a family life program sponsored by the Coconut Grove Seventh-day Adventist Church. We are your hosts,
Thomas George
and Marilyn George. The objective of All That Matters is to equip our audience on how to manage various family dynamics, and the lessons will be derived from the experiences of our guests. And today we are privileged to have with us Mr. and Mrs. Samuels. And I am certain our viewers would like to get some background information on them. So, Mr. and Mrs. Samuels, welcome to All That Matters. We are going to start with you just telling us a little bit about yourselves.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, we have been married for 27 years, originally from Jamaica, and we came to the United States in the early 2000, and we are in Florida right now, and we are also from the First Ephesus Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm an elderly, and my wife, she's on the board as a music director, and we have 3 children, 3 boys, and that's what has been good to us.
Yes, we are also government workers, but we also own our own business from Jamaica, and then we are here on a different business where we run guest houses right now, and we have we are members of the church. I am a women's ministry advocate, as well as the choir leader, and I am author of the book Pirated.
Okay, so sounds like you guys are very accomplished individuals, and also, like you said, members of the faith, right? But let's go back to, you said 27 years of marriage. That's a long time. So can we go back to your wedding day? Describe what it was like.
That's a long time.
Probably we should start with when we first met. Is that easier?
If it's easier for you, tell us how did you meet, and let's transition into the wedding day.
All right. Well, I was working with the government. I had left the Ministry of Justice and went on to the National Water Commission in Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
And they eventually sponsored me a scholarship to go back to university, and got the CPA status. And my first day at that college, which is now transitioned into a university of Jamaica, at that time it was called College of Art, Science and Technology. Mm-hmm. But now it is a University of Technology. And leaving the campus, I was rushing out to take the bus, and he was on the other side of the roadway, walking through the gate simultaneously. Mm-hmm. And I just noticed him because of his height, and and he was clean. He was so clean, so decently dressed. Mm-hmm. His clothes, his deportment, and so on. It turns out that we end up at the same bus stop. Mm-hmm. And I was still there, noticing him across the bus. He's on the bus stop, but we are on either side of the bus stop. And I jumped into my bus when it came, and it was an unfamiliar area, so I started paying attention to where I'm going. But it turned out coincidentally that he was in the same bus. Mm-hmm. And we came off at the same second stop. Mm-hmm. And then we end up on the same second bus. And this time the bus was so crammed and crowded that he was actually standing beside me, but we were in standing room, crowded together. Mm-hmm. And I was able to now notice the cleanliness of his fingers, so neatly cut and so on. And he smelled so good and so on. When I came off the bus, I had just bought a house in the area, so I forget about him and start paying attention to where I'm going to make sure I don't lose my stop. And in walking, when I came off, I felt the person put their hand on my neck, and I had my handbag, and it was a new area too where I'm going, so I was sort of scared. So I took my handbag and I swirled around to hit the person with the handbag, and I realized it was him.
Oh wow, wow. So then let's go forward. Who approached whom? Who spoke first? What was the conversation like?
I guess I just said hi, how are you, and so on, and so I guess I spoke first, and we're walking towards the same direction, so I accompanied her. I think I
But
accompanied her.
why did you approach her? Why did you approach her? Were you attracted to her just the same?
Yes, yes. I saw her on the bus, and I was attracted. I said, "This is a nice young lady. She looks decent." As she said, she was coming from the college, and I said, I like to get to know her, but I was a little timid. But I did approach her, and struck up a conversation, and we started talking.
Okay, and then tell how long did you guys date before the wedding date was set?
Well,
almost a year. Yeah.
Well,
about a year.
I want to say something significant here that when he continued on the pathway to my home, when I reached a certain point, I said to him, I turned and stood, and he said, "Oh, you're one of them that don't want somebody to go to your house on the first time." And I said, "That's right. I don't allow strangers to my home." And then he said, "Okay, bye." But then when I walked off, I said, "You know what? You look like you're decent, so it's okay to follow me home," and so on. The very next morning, after we said goodbye and so on, the very next morning, my sister came and she was pounding on my door. "Someone is at the gate for you." And I said, "I don't know anybody in the area because I just come here." And he said, and she said, "Well, there is a man outside waiting on you, and when I looked out, it was him.
Okay.
I want to make note that from that day, he came every single morning and accompanied me to work. And every single evening, he waited for me at the bus stop. Until this day, we walk home together.
So it sounds like you guys found each other. It's like finding your soulmate. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we we are living in an age right now where marriage lasts a day, a week, a month, a year. Today happens to be our 21st wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. My question to you is, what kept you guys together for so long? What is the secret? What kept you going for so long?
Okay, let me go back a little. When I met her, I wasn't a Seventh-day Adventist. I wasn't even going to church. She invited me to church because she was a Christian lady, or still is, and her family. So I started to go to church with her on Sabbath. But before that, I guess I was getting a calling because I had another couple and some other people who were inviting me, and I used to go to like a tent crusade. So I started going to church with her. Of course, it felt strange. Going to church on a Saturday, on a Sabbath. But I persisted.
That's a very interesting story. So you said that you were not an Adventist before meeting your wife, right? So tell us a little more.
Yes, I was not an Adventist before I met my wife, but I was getting the calling because I was invited to some crusades by some friends, and I started attending these crusades. And then I met her, and she was a staunch Adventist. She invited me to church because she and her family used to go, and I started going. It felt strange on the first couple of times. After a while, I get to like it, and I realized that from then that if I'm to be a Christian or Adventist Christian, I would have to stand out while others were worshiping on Sunday. We worship on the Sabbath. I eventually got baptized maybe about before we got married, and we move on. And God has been good to us, and we are still in the faith.
Okay. So
yeah,
go ahead.
I want to add that as a note to whoever is listening, that it's not wise to get involved with non-Adventist. And that was a pledge that I had made to the Lord. It's not wise to, even when somebody just get married, to go ahead and just get baptized, to get involved. That person needs to grow and turn staunch adulthood in the church, move from baby stage spiritually to, and so on. And those were principles that I had in place, but at the time when we started speaking, he had looked so familiar that particular night. In my mind, for that first week, before my Christianity was brought up, I thought that it was Seventh-day Adventist. I keep on saying to him, which church have I met you? Because, I keep traveling around, especially when to doing different programs or singing, following around these gospel groups and so on and things. So in my mind, I thought that I'd met him. He had on no jewelry, he looked so Christ-like and everything. Anyway, after a while, when he disclosed that he's not a Seventh-day Adventist, and I said, "Are you sure?" Because I don't saw you and stuff like that. We just joke about it and stuff. Then I would bring in start introducing, what my principles are and so on. But as we get, and we never started out like that. But by his third week, he asked me if I would kiss him. And I said, I don't kiss strangers, especially just knowing them and so on. And furthermore, we're nothing. I would say that, but you could feel the strong pull from then. Error one. From that point, I should have backed out. I'm talking all about the should have, just to make the record clear to our young people and whoever will be listening, that you have to recognize Satan's plan and run. Okay, but however, in my mistake, I started rationalizing why I could talk 1 more week with him and it's just gonna stay as friend and so on, but it never did. We got deeper.
So,
and deeper.
let's be clear here. Are you rationalizing the kiss, or did the kiss lead further into all the stuff that you were not supposed to do before you were married?
Let me say something.
One more, wait, baby, let me answer 1 minute. I'm rationalizing the reason to even still be seeing him.
Okay.
Having him visiting me, having him every day at the same time, 1 o'clock at my lunchtime, he would call and so on, and you just get deeper and deeper involved and so on. And then I started putting out a decided effort now to point out my religion to him. And so we went into Bible study. Because I am here now saying to him, because he came outright and said, this is how I feel and I want to move forward. And I would say, this is how I feel, but this is my principle. And my pledge to my God above is that no man should get under my skirt except the man who put the ring on my finger.
Okay, let's
that's really the Bible study.
Yes, Mr. Samuels, talk to us. I'm giving you just 45 seconds to do that, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I just want to say that what she's trying to say is that maybe she should not have spoken to me because I was not an Adventist, because sometimes the relationship where people are unequally yoked doesn't work out. If you try to bring someone in the church instead of you bringing them in, they might pull you out, whether it be a man or a woman. So we have to be careful, especially young people who are dating, not to date someone who is not of the faith. But anyhow, in this case, it worked out.
God overruled.
It worked out pretty well. And of course, we got married. I eventually came into the church, as I told you, because I guess the Spirit was calling me, the Spirit was leading me. And so I went into the church and then we got baptized. I got baptized and we got married.
Very shortly after, yeah. I want to say also,
tell you what, hold that thought. We will be right back, okay? Because your story is so intriguing. We do not want to miss out on anything, okay? So we will be right back with Mr. and Mrs. Samuels.
Hello everyone, welcome. This is the People's Views and I am Teresa. This week's question is a very interesting one. Here it is. Would you stay in your marriage if your spouse cheated? Why or why not? Let's hear what the people had to say.
Please note that the views and opinions expressed on the People's Views are not those of the Coconut Grove SDA Church or any other SDA church or conference. The views and opinions heard here are strictly that of the general public.
I would not leave him if that was his first time, because I do believe that people make mistakes. There are temptations. It depends on what the marriage was going through. You know, you never know if, one person is falling out of love with the other person, or something could be just pretty much going on in their relationship. So for me, if it's the first time, no, because like I said, I do believe that people deserve second chances and people make mistakes. So we would definitely have to go to counseling and try and work through building back trust.
And honestly, I wouldn't, due to the fact that that trust that we've had is broken. And honestly, I don't think I would ever be able to get over that or kind of put that behind me, because it will always be like in the back of my head. And I don't know, I wouldn't be able to get past that. And even if I did get past it, like, I would never forget. Like, you forgive them, but you would never forget. And nah, I just wouldn't. I wouldn't get back with them. Life's too short.
I would definitely stay in my marriage if my husband cheated on me, because of the vow that we made before God and man, for richer or for poorer, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, until death do us part. And most of all, the Bible stated that we have to learn to forgive, because our Father in heaven will not forgive us if we don't forgive. And why I love my husband, and when I decided to get married, I made a vow before God that divorce will not be an option in my marriage. And we just have to learn to forgive each other and forget also, because if you don't forget, you will continually reminding the other person of what they did in the past. Thank you.
I say no, because I feel like I would always be looking over my shoulder and questioning myself, is that person gonna do it again? What are they doing now? This and that. Also, once they do it, I feel like they're gonna do it again. It could be a year from now, 2 years from now. And what you allow the person to do is how a person is going to treat you. So therefore, if I accept them and they do it again, and I accept them again, they're just going to keep on doing it, because they're going to be like, oh, she took me back. I can do what I want. I just have to say I'm sorry, blah, 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 and that's that. So for other reasons also, they could put you in danger like that. By cheating on you, they could put you in danger physically. So I would not take them back.
That's a very tough question, but I will say no. And my reason for saying no is that if I'm trying to be a child of God, then I have to have it in my heart to forgive. Just like God forgave me, I got to forgive my wife also. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy. I'm not going to say that there won't be, changes, or things not going to be the same for some time. But still, I have to say to forgive, because God forgave me of my sins, and to be a part of Christ, I have to find that same strength to forgive my wife. That's my answer.
Well, there you have it, folks. Until next time, this is the People's Views. Bye.
Welcome back to All That Matters, and our intriguing guest today is Mr. and Mrs. Samuels, and we are going to do right now, how well do you know me?
All right, and the first question, when was the last time you told each other that I love you? Write it down, please, and let's see those answers. Okay.
And what is yours, Mr. Samuel?
I didn't say it.
That's not.
Oh, okay.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Samuel, do you know your wife's password to her phone?
Write it down.
Yes or no? And Mr. Samuel, does he know your password?
Write it down.
No, write down the answer.
Okay, we
yes.
see that.
Oh, don't show me. We don't want any hackers coming in, okay?
Let's see that. I didn't say it.
Okay, well, thank you very much. Okay, and then we're gonna have you guys to change that password when our programming is done, okay? All right, let's continue.
Who makes breakfast in the morning? Write it down, please. So far, 2 out of 2.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
And let's just do a few more questions.
Okay.
What is your wife's favorite color? What is her favorite color? You write your favorite color also.
Okay.
Okay. Sure, what's your answer?
Oh, wow.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
Who is the most spiritual in the home? Who always call for family worship, etc.? So far, what, 4 out of 4?
They're doing pretty good.
They're doing good, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, I see that.
Okay. All right. Yes, and the final question, okay, that's to you, Mr. Samuel. Did her parents approve of the marriage? And you write the answer to Mrs. Samuel. Did they approve of the marriage? Okay.
All right, we see that.
And we have a big yes, right?
Yes, 6 out of 6.
Yes, looks like we have a very happy marriage relationship.
Yes, yes.
Thank you very much for participating in All That Matters. So you guys are accomplished individuals. Let's transition into money management. At what point in your relationship did your money, that's the both of you, become our money? Or is that what you are practicing? It's our money, or is it his and I have mine?
It's our money. We do the major things together. But what happened, we do have separate accounts because there was an issue with the bank where at one time she wasn't able to open an account or come on my account, that sort of thing. And I'm really the person in the family who manages the money, because I did accounts and money management and so on. So I deal with that aspect, and we put together our monies and plan and make major decisions, especially like buying major things like house, cars, that sort of thing, whatever we have to do with the schooling. And so that's where it's at pretty much.
Okay. And I mean, we've said, or we've been reiterating that it's 27 years of marriage, and things change over a period of time, right? How do you guys keep increasing, keep changing the intimacy in your relationship? How do you spice it up? How do you go about spicing it up to keep it relevant?
Let me just make a quick mention here on the money management, which I wanted to clarify. That's why I was looking at it. And this is an advice to our people who are listening, because I'm thinking outside of us, each comment that we make. In my opinion, I think that we are supposed to physically bring the money together, or the both of us money is dumping together and so on, in one account or so on. Well, as he said, there was an issue, but separate and apart from that, as I said, he's not a person that talks or so on. So I still don't know the full measure of how much he gets for his salary, and or when he does a lot of overtime and so on. And I will say, I don't think I should keep on saying how much came on your salary this time or so on. I just think that we should put it together there on the table and so on and things. So sometimes, that causes a little drawback, because I think I'm doing full disclosure and he's not doing full disclosure and so on. And in my opinion, that should be so. But he keep on saying, well, from you here one time, you should know. But that one time was 20 years ago or 7 years ago in the job. And I don't even know when he gets an increase. I can't keep up with his increase or his calculations and so on. And to me, that's my opinion. I should know. And if he will borrow money from somebody, he doesn't tell me he borrowed. I don't like that. And I think as couples out there, every move each of you make, it should be known by each other. And if somebody come and asks to borrow money or to come into some kind of business with you, you should say, let me consult my partner first. Give me a minute, give me a day. Doesn't matter how urgent they say it is. Give me a minute then or something. Because lots of time when it doesn't work out, or illegality comes into it, or conmanship or whatever, guess who finally come in the picture and have to be helping out to fix things? Me. Because he carries this character features and quiet, humble look and so on. You do have people who want to take disadvantage of him. And then I now have to come into the picture, and then I look like the dragon or the confrontational type and so on and stuff like that. And that is why my mom always said the both of us are so opposite. You don't say what on earth draw us together, because he's quiet and doesn't talk. I talk. I go and I do this, and I will argue and fight with people, not physically, but go to the end of the law to get money outstanding for us. He won't do that. The people have his money with or so on, and he doesn't want to go and confront them for it and things like that. So, sometimes the Lord make the two of you different. Not sometimes. God have a good sense of humor, and you got to learn to respect each other's differences, because guess what? That complements and make you whole. I will come up with the ideas of business, and he comes in and make it possible to happen. And we both, and then I will do the marketing part, and he will do, the financial and different angles and stuff like that. And my son is now in the business and stuff like that. But when it come on to money collection, we would go bankrupt a long time ago if it was left up to him.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for sharing your journey with us. It has been a very interesting one. And one that we learn quite a bit from for practice in our own relationships. And we hope our viewers that you did learn something from the relationship of the Samuels. And see you again on
this wonderful union. Learn each other's love language. Make your partner feel wanted. This has been all that matters.